Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. And this is a paid request from Kingpin. One of a couple, thanks to him. Thank you so much for your generosity. I really appreciate it. Sorry some of these may take a bit. I'm trying my best, but appreciate your patience. Thank you, Kingpin. And again, thank to everyone out there. Thank you for sending in the requests and stuff. I really do appreciate it. If you do want to send any others, feel free. PayPal's usually the best bet. I do have a Patreon and a CashApp. Links are down below in the info box, but PayPal's usually the best bet to do that. It could be any topic, movie review, re-review, reaction, commentary, random thoughts, movie news, video game playthroughs, whatever the case, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. And this is for Ant-Man, the 2015 Marvel superhero film starring Paul Rudd. You got Michael Douglas, Michael Peña. And this is a film that I do like, and I still like it. Watch it again. I wouldn't say it's in my top, I don't know. If I did a top 10 Marvel films from 2008 to now, would it be in there? I don't know. Iron Man would be in there. Captain America films would probably be in there. Doctor Strange I liked, Age of Ultron I liked, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 I liked. Actually, you know what, it may be in my top 10. It would be in my top 10 like favorite Marvel from 2008 to now. It would. Because I do like the energy this film has in terms of showing the scale of when Ant-Man's very small and how everything is so huge around him, playing around with that. A little bit of a inner space, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that whole motif, because that's not something you really get to see all the time. And when it's something that's a bit more unique in that nature, it just makes it a bit more of an interesting viewing experience. And sadly, it seemed like the sequels kind of went a bit more away from that. I'm not saying they never did that. Of course they did, but the first one just had a bit more innocence to it. I definitely think it had, in a way, the strongest story of all three films. Because I don't know if Ant-Man is really a character that needs a big, lengthy franchise to keep telling stories surrounding it. I mean, of course, if they're done very well, then you tell as many as you want. Now, I know one of the other requests is Ant-Man and the Wasp, which, honestly, I haven't seen that film since it came out. And the word I kept thinking of was forgettable. Not that I hated it, but just kind of forgettable. And the third one I'm not a fan of, Quantumania. That one, I don't know what the hell they were doing with that one. But this one, Edgar Wright, who did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Baby Driver, he wanted to do this film and was with the project for a long while, but then left due to creative differences. In other words, more than likely because of Kevin Feige, who probably wanted him to don't be too out there, don't be too weird, we don't want to, I don't know what the hell you would put into words. We don't want to stew the audience. So, this is a bit, I mean, go ahead and do it. What, you think he's going to make an R-rated Ant-Man movie? I'd be fine with that, but I mean, it's not like he was going to do that. But anyway, I would be curious to hear as to what those specific details were that Edgar Wright wanted to do, but then Kevin Feige or whoever said no. But Paul Rudd is the star of the film. He is a criminal out of jail. He was a thief. What kind of a thief? But he stole in order to give the money back to people where that money was stolen from them. So he's a thief, but he's a good guy underneath. He wants to be with his daughter again. I thought the child they got to play his daughter was rather sweet, likable, and the few bits you get to see of him with his daughter, it was a nice well-natured little. I wouldn't say there was enough to be a rapport, but yeah, a nice little bit where you tell they care for each other. The new boyfriend is a cop, which I recognize the actor Bobby Cannavale, which I've liked him in quite a few other stuff, so it was cool to. I forgot he was in this. And the ex-wife is, hey, you need to pay child support. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, he's been in jail, but I guess, hey, he can't hold a job. He's trying to do the best. Yeah, plug for Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins always knows, and they fire him because they find out about his history, criminal history. And he thinks, okay, if I do this and do that and save up this amount of money, it's going to take me like over a year or so to see my daughter again. So Michael Peña used to room with him in jail. Now that he and other people are out, he's got a plan. At first, Paul Rudd said no, but then he's like, okay, you know what, I'll do it. The plan is to go into this house, go into this vault. We see a bit of Paul Rudd's cleverness as a thief, which that seems to be lost in the other films. I don't know if the others really... Because that's what happened to a lot of the heroes in Marvel, was that they became much more dumber, much more incompetent, much more stupid. Oh, they're just goofballs and they strip. That happened to Thor. In a way, that happened to Hulk, if you remember bits in She-Hulk. They're either goofier or they stumble more. Let's see. I think it happened to this guy. Because did they really talk about him being a thief and his skills as a thief in some of the later films? I don't remember that nature. But when he's doing that, he's very competent. He knows how to set it up. We put this mattress down, so if something falls, they'll cushion it and have a bit of a protection in case the things blow up and hit his face. And he gets the liquid here, and in order to freeze from the inside and open up the lock, and all his fingerprint notification. Find a way to get a fingerprint and how he gets the fingerprint, able to open up that part of security. So it was cool to see his competency. It wasn't just a complete utter dolt. There's a reason why Michael Douglas got to him in the first place. But he goes into the vault and you find out there's a suit and a helmet, and Paul Rudd is confused. Wait, where's the money? He takes the suit anyway. Pretty soon after he gets arrested, Michael Douglas says, listen, here's the suit. And he looks down and Paul Rudd sees these little ants carrying the suit. You have 10 seconds to put it on and make your decision. He does. Meets up with Michael Douglas, who plays Hank Pym, who had the serum that could separate particles and shrink you or bring you back up. And needs his help to go in and steal this stuff that his former protege, assistant, Dickwad, Darren Cross, has finally succeeded in finding a bits of that particle and doing his own suit called the Yellow Jacket that he's going to try to sell and get some big money. But Michael Douglas doesn't want that into possibly the wrong hands, because Darren Cross doesn't know how to... Or he's the bad guy, let's face it. He's the bad guy. That's what happened with a lot of these. It's like, okay, you have an Iron Man, we need an evil Iron Man. Like did the first one. You have Ant-Man, we need an evil Ant-Man. So Yellow Jacket. That happened in a lot of these movies. Hulk, what's the evil version of that? Abomination. So on and so. Even Captain America and then Bucky, an evil Winter Soldier, and then Captain America Winter Soldier. So in this case, brainwashed. So that happens a lot in this stuff. But I mean, I didn't mind it here. I thought it worked with the plot. I thought the actors did well. Yes, Paul Rudd is playing Paul Rudd, but I thought he worked the best in this compared to some of the sequels. And I remember him not being bad in the second film. The third one, that's a whole other thing. But Paul Rudd brought his charm to the proceedings. definitely an interesting type of casting. Different. But yeah, I like him as an actor, so it was cool to see him get this, big break of this franchise. Always cool to see Michael Douglas. I'm a fan of his ever since back to the day, Black Rain, Falling Down, films like The Game. I'm a big Michael Douglas fan. Cool to see him in here. I thought for 2015, the way at the beginning it takes place in 1989 and they do some digital alteration of his face to look younger, I thought it was pretty decent. He was looking a bit of how he looked in sort of the Black Rain days. I thought that was kind of cool to see. I actually didn't think it was that bad. I thought the guy who played Darren Cross, I thought he did okay. I thought he had enough of a smarmy dickhead quality that he wasn't as one-note boring as some of the other villains I've seen. Like Black Widow. I don't remember the damn villain in Black Widow. Or Shang-Chi. Or the Eternals. Or any of that shit. It was interesting that Darren Cross's... I guess because if you do his particle thing wrong, you turn to like this little bit of like snot smear. It seemed disgusting. Like he turns one guy into that. Looks like cat puke. And I just had this visceral reaction. Like, I completely forgot about that. So it's interesting because it makes it appear fairly violent without a whole lot of violence. I know that doesn't make sense, but you just see like what this person's been turned into, just this liquid state of DNA, and just be wiped with toilet paper and flushed down the toilet. Like Darren Cross goes like, oh, what a dick. What a dick. And like this poor lamb as a test subject, baby lamb just turned to it as well. It's like, oh, don't kill the cute baby animals, and it kills a cute baby animal. So I thought that was kind of, may sound stupid, but it's kind of ballsy compared to what Disney would do today. Michael Peña and his buddies, they were fine. They worked for what they needed to do. I thought the joke kind of ran thin, where he's telling the story, but then it shows the flashback of how Michael Peña got this information, and when it shows like these different people where the information was moved from one to the other, the person starts moving their mouth and saying to Michael Peña's words. And the fact they did that like 2 times, like 2 or 3, I think like 2 times at least. So I guess it's not much of a running thing, but I think they did that in the sequel as well. Again, I haven't revisited that yet. It's okay, maybe it works once, but not... I didn't need to see it the second time. But yeah, I liked seeing the bits of... Again, reminded me of Inner Space and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where he's very tiny and he's either in the bathtub or he's running across the turntable record, and I thought that stuff was pretty cool to see, especially in the finale when he's fighting Yellow Jacket and they're going back and forth in this helicopter, and then they're in this bag and they're going in this bag as it's falling from the sky, and there's lifesavers, and yeah, it's product placement, but it actually did make me chuckle, I will admit. And how they bump this phone and the Cure starts playing. I thought that stuff was kind of cool. It was nice to see visually. And good music as well playing during that scene. And the whole finale on Paul Rudd's daughter's Thomas the Tank Engine train set. I thought that was kind of cute to see like Thomas the Tank be a point of fear, contention, obstacle that Thomas the Tank could endanger your life. I thought the director Peyton Reed I think he didn't do as good of a job in the sequels, but I thought this, with the help of probably maybe the other people involved writing the film and other stuff, I did like the idea of when the actions happen amongst the toy train set. There are times the camera will pull back and we'll see how we would see it if this was actually happening. Like the toy just don't boom, or the toy train just don't flop it to the ground. So, which doesn't seem as impactful. It's just a little toy falling to the ground. Big deal. But then you see it up close of all the Yellow Jacket firing its lasers and flying around, and Ant-Man going back and forth. And I like seeing the way that scale is when he's tiny. When they're doing the heist, and there's a bit where he's escaping and he's running through this model city. So he's running through, and you have all this debris coming over him, but in reality, it's this model city being blown up. I don't know how to put it. Just it gave at least a bit more of a unique gimmick to the action scenes, so they didn't feel so repetitive or been there, done that compared to other Marvel films. Even by that point, was creating some nice bits of humor in it. I think that's a problem Marvel did was certain films should have a decent amount of humor. Like the Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.'s quips, that works for that. Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, if those films are more comedic, fine. But then, would I make Thor more comedic? Now Hulk is more comedic with She-Hulk. And even Avengers Endgame, here's some tacos. Oh, here's some selfies. They try to make almost everyone that way. It just, when everyone's that, then the other's not special anymore. I did like a good chunk of this film was just a heist. Yes, there's dire circumstances, but it's not another city being blown up by something from the sky. An entire city and building after building exploding, and constant CGI explosions of buildings and stuff. It's a heist. I made it a bit more different compared to other superhero films, especially at that time. The usage of the ants I thought were cute, and it had some funny gags. For example, Michael Douglas can control with this piece ants. It's like, you want some sugar? And Paul Rudd looks down, you see these little ants carrying these little sugar cubes. And when he's like, no, they turn right back and go the other way. I thought like that visual was cute but funny. Same with when he has to get to know the different types of ants. Like these things will fly. These things have a little electrical thing that will short circuit some stuff. These will help build and get you to places you need to go. So I like that there's a variety of ants. And the way they're utilized, including one he names Antony. And it says when something that's not even a character, well, spoiler for a film that's almost 10 years old. Jesus. This is almost 10 years old. God damn. 2015, yeah. This is almost 10 years old. Wow. It doesn't make sense because there's been 3 of them. Plus he's been in some Avengers movies, so yeah. Wow. Just realized that till now. Jesus. Didn't realize that till now, I should say. But when a character that wasn't really a character dies, and then Ant-Man turns, you see just the wings of Antony fly down. I'm like, okay, well, for some reason I felt something, and now this villain needs to pay. And they did not cheap out. Where, oh, Antony, you're still alive. No. That's what I mean. It did a couple little things where, again, turning baby animals and people into cat puke paste, and I did, like, killing which nowadays, oh, we can't do that. No, he's too cute. We sell toys with Anthony. You guys sell toys with them. That I don't know if that was stuff they kept from Edgar Wright script. I don't know if that was because there's like multiple writers on this, and I don't know what all was kept from it. I don't know. But yeah, I liked Paul Rudd in it. I liked the stuff with between him and his daughter. The daughter was likable and sweet, and when she asked her mom's boyfriend, "Are you trying to catch my dad? I hope you don't catch him." Well, a nice little sweet daughter father moment when she realizes her dad's a hero and stuff of that nature. When she's worried about her dad, nowadays you don't see a whole lot of positive daughter father stories because apparently all fathers suck. Some do, but not all of them do. So that was nice to see. I didn't mind the actress that played Michael Douglas's daughter, which later she'd be the Wasp. I thought she was fine. I didn't mind the stuff between her and Paul Rudd and her training him. I didn't mind the training montage where he's training how to use the suit and dealing with the ants and stuff. There's a bit where it looks like they're like kissing and stuff at the end that kind of came out of nowhere that I didn't buy. I'm like, where did that come from? I forget, were they kissing? I blocked out my head so much so quickly now that I don't remember whether they kissed or not. But I'm like, really, dude? Like, we're going this direction? Why? I mean, why are we going this direction? I don't know. I mean, they do bring up that Michael Douglas's wife was trapped. Back to the day they were preventing this missile. She did this whole thing to go. What was the phrase? Go quantum. And subatomic. Go subatomic. That's what was the phrase. Go subatomic. Of course, later on we'll find out that's Michelle Pfeiffer. I think that's the second movie. I think that'll be the second movie where we find that out. Which is cool to have Michelle Pfeiffer in there. So I'm curious to watch the second film again, see whether my opinion changes, if I like it more compared to films nowadays, or if I like it less. I'm curious now. I'm definitely curious the idea of that sequel watch. But yeah, this one I liked. I mean, the villain's not the most original, but again, at least he had a bit more of this, again, smarmy, cocky, wise-ass attitude that, again, like I said, didn't come off as one note to me compared to, some of the other villains. Even in just Marvel. Like I said, it's cool to see Michael Douglas. He's a great asset. Paul Rudd is perfectly fine as Ant-Man. I can't remember the music, the score, good or bad. The action, get to see him kick some ass, going from small to big, small to big. How fluent that became. Oh, I actually didn't mind the cameo by Anthony Mackie as Falcon. I remember when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that's cool he's in this. Because they gotta get this device in order to help with their heist. And they think it's just this abandoned building, but they find out it's like the Avengers headquarters, and the person there is Falcon. You think there'd be a lot more security? Well, I mean, anyway. I just thought there'd be even more high-tech security just as Tony Stark. But either way, how do I put it? It was cool to see Anthony Mackie. Kind of weird, though. I mean, now that Anthony Mackie's Captain America, I'm like, so the guy that got his ass kicked by Ant-Man is Captain America. It's like, dude, you couldn't even beat Ant-Man. Like, Ant-Man kicked your ass, but I was supposed to buy you as Captain America? I didn't. That's one of those things where I don't know what they did on Captain America versus the Winter Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that's what it was called. Apparently, there's a whole lot of, you cops are bad because you racist. You do better. Oh my Jesus Christ, really? But I'm like, I liked Anthony Mackie. It just felt out of the blue that he became Captain America. Maybe that's just me. I'm like, did he really do enough to be Captain America? I mean, he's good as Falcon. I like the actor. I know he was in Twisted Metal. I still never saw that show. I never got requested it. People said it was good, but I'd never seen Twisted Metal TV show. But yeah, I like the actor. So it was cool to see him in there. I thought it worked fine for what he needed to do in the story. But it's just funny in retrospect. Like, the guy was asked by Ant-Man is Captain America. So, go figure. You could beat it. If you couldn't beat Ant-Man, who the fuck can you beat? I mean, well, I would don't say, maybe I shouldn't feel that bad for Anthony Mackie because I'm sure he's getting a pretty good paycheck on it. But I would think all this stuff was kind of chosen above his pay grade. Like, hey, they chose, okay, you don't be Captain America. Okay. And now he's kind of thrust into the middle of this big Disney machine that, I don't know. I know some people call him, oh, it's Captain, what was it they say? Captain African American. Okay, Captain African American. I mean, so I know that's wrong to say, but I will admit when I heard someone say that, I thought it was pretty funny. And yes, it's sad because I like Anthony Mackie. I don't think the new Captain America movie will be good. Because it looks like they just ripped off the Winter Soldier again, and oh, Harrison Ford is Red Hulk. I'm like, who gives a shit? I'm going off tangent, but anyway, Ant-Man. I liked the movie. Michael Peña and his group was not as funny as I remember them being. I will say, they were okay. They were okay, but just I didn't hate them, but they were less funny than I remember them being. Like I said, the musical score, even the music choices, other than the tear, it was cool to hear that. And the bag fight bit they had while I was falling from the helicopter. I like that bit. But I just more the score. Like, the score I don't remember much of, good or bad. The actresses were fun. And like I said, the whole miniature thing, I thought at least brought a bit more fun to the action, a bit more variety, a bit more intrigue on a gimmick level. Again, so it didn't feel same old, like, oh, we've seen this before. So that was nice to see. So I think Ant-Man still holds up. I still think it's a pretty good film. At least in my opinion. Fun popcorn entertainment. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.